Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of the Three-Man Weave minus Avi. It's Connor O'Gara and Kevin Bowen live here from Carver Hawkeye Arena. Probably the worst performance IU has had in the Big Ten this season, definitely on the road. In the sense of just an overall 40-minute game, it just wasn't there. Hoosiers got off to a nice start, tried to make a comeback, cut it to 10, but Matt Gaetens put on a career high 30 points today, and that was the difference. Connor, just turnovers right out of the start of the gate. Iowa just kind of a token pressure. It really wasn't kind of a full-out press, like a 1-2-2 it looked like. IU had 5 turnovers in the first five minutes. That just set the tone for the whole game.
Yeah, Iowa really came out and was the complete opposite team that we saw last time. Last time they played the Olay defense, and IU scored 103 points. And tonight it was completely different. The way that they were able to set the tone defensively really came out. Fran McCaffery had a nice game plan to attack this team early and to attack them in the half-court game, to attack them in the full-court game too, to be able to come out and pressure the way that they did. They were able to get some steals, force guys to get out, to not really establish a rhythm. And I think it's such an overlooked category of basketball. When guys aren't able to get into the flow of a game offensively early, you saw a lot of IU players that really just had no idea what they were doing offensively tonight. I mean, we saw, I'm sure we'll get to it in a little bit, but just the performance out of Verdell Jones, Christian Watford, Jordan Hulls, 3 guys that you look for offense consistently, and these guys combined for 3 points tonight on 1 of 11 shooting. And Crean basically said afterwards, you can't have that. And if IU wants to win road games in general, that can't work, and that's not something that IU can continue to have moving forward.
Got a leaf blower going inside the arena right now. Not really sure what that is for, but points in the paint I think was a big issue too. The first game, Connor, I believe IU had 52, somewhere around
58
there.
Maybe?
Yeah, even more. I mean, it was a dunk fest. I mean, Zeller, Watford, everybody was getting involved in. Verdell Jones had 9 assists, I believe, in that game. Tonight, nowhere to be found. Iowa, with really no true post presence, had more points in the paint than the Hoosiers. Nelson Basabe, a guy that's killed IU in the past, was huge tonight off the bench. I believe he had 11 points. 13 points, and he had a bunch of blocks, 4 or 5 blocks.
5 blocks, yeah.
I mean, he was everywhere, and that's what Iowa needed, because they were without 2 of the regular guys. Eric May did not play, and Bryce Cartwright, who made the game winner last year in Bloomington between these 2 teams, did not play as well. So Basabe played huge minutes, and I think Zeller kind of struggled with his length a little bit.
Yep.
Cody looked a little frustrated at times. He had 2 quick buckets in the first 40.
5 points in the first 40 seconds
right.
of the game.
And then from then he was 3 of 12 the rest of the way. He did have his 3rd double-double of his career, but again, he's just struggled. He missed an alley-oop dunk that really was a perfect pass, and just Cody usually finishes those plays. It just looked like everybody on IU's roster, up and down, was kind of flustered. But let's talk about Gaetens, Connor. He was terrific all night.
Unreal.
Again, you cut it to 52-42. They had a little 9-0 run, and then out of that under 8 media timeout, Gaetens hits 5 threes the rest of the way. 4 of them really on the next 6 trips down the floor for Iowa, and that just took any life out of the Hoosier sail.
Yeah, Matt Gaetens had an incredible performance tonight, a career performance for him, a guy that we've seen throughout his career at Iowa has not really maybe had the consistency that Iowa fans have hoped for, but he shows glimpses like this where, that's a senior performance. To start off the way that he did from the floor, you pointed it out after he missed 6 shots in a row to start. So he was 1 of 7.
He hit 3 free throws and hit 1 jumper, and then he missed 6 in a row the rest of the first half.
And to respond like that takes a senior. That's upperclassman. That's leadership, saying, you know what, I'm gonna do what I can to put this team on my back. Iowa was struggling offensively to get anything going. It looks like IU had finally turned the corner defensively, and it had actually switched to a zone.
Right.
And then Gaetens just shoots over it. And I mean, that's basically what you have to do if you're a senior in these situations to get these big wins. Yes, Iowa's not going to be a team that's going to be in the NCAA tournament, but as a senior, he's going to look back on moments like this and know that that's what he had to do in this situation.
Playing without 2 veterans in Cartwright and May, he knew they put his team on his back. And a big key in that run, I think, was Victor Oladipo picking up his 4th foul. You've seen, at times we've seen as the game wears on, Victor, we saw it on John Scherner the other night, Victor kind of wears you down. He picked up his 4th foul on the trip prior down the floor, so I think that was big the rest of the way, because then IU did have to go to some zone, I think, kind of to hide Victor, and then also hide Matt Roth too, because Roth had to be on the floor. He was probably you could maybe argue IU's best player tonight. He had 4 threes. He really kept them in it. Late, they cut it to, I believe, 14 was the closest that that they got after Dayton hit those three threes.
Well, besides 12 at the end of the game,
Right.
but yeah.
I mean, I think it's one of those things where IU, can they still do these things away from home that we've seen them do at home in terms of closing teams out? Tonight, it never even got to that point in terms of closing teams out. Is this an IU team that we still worry about away from home? Was Purdue a fluke? Because now there's only going to be one more road game the rest of the year at the Barn a week from Sunday. And then besides that, NCAA tournament is really going to be the next time we're going to see IU on a true neutral court. Because come Big Ten tournament play, it's going to be a lot of IU red up there at Bankers Life. Is that kind of your biggest worry, Connor? Can this team do it away from the friendly confines of Assembly Hall?
Yeah, I think that's got to be the big issue with this team right now. Victor Oladipo, after the game, basically said, you know what? I can't just be a spark plug at home. I need to be this player on the road. And he didn't use the fact that he had 4 fouls as an excuse. He called himself out and said, I got to play better defensively. I have to show up. I am the defensive catalyst of this team. I am the one responsible for getting this team going. So he really took upon himself, which I think shows a lot of class for an underclassman to come out and say that, because he is the catalyst for this team. When he plays well on defense, he sparks other guys. Will Sheehy plays better defensively. Christian Watford plays better defensively. And I think really it was a letdown performance from himself, and I that was as disappointed I've seen him, despite the fact that he led this team with 15 points.
Right.
But I mean, you look at what this team has done in the past couple weeks. Yes, 3 wins in a row. Awesome, that's great. From the Nathan Hart School of Momentum, there's no such thing. It didn't matter that IU had 3 wins coming into this game.
And Iowa just come off a bad loss.
Yeah.
Probably in their stands at Penn State on Thursday.
Yeah, and so you really can't look at that and automatically chalk up a win, because it sounds so cliche, but on any given night, anything can happen, and especially in the best conference in America, that's exactly what this
I think
is.
Victor's being a little hard on himself. I think it's good that he's stepping up and saying this, but from an energy standpoint, him on the road is huge, because there is no crowd here to back IU, create that energy. So his hustle plays can get this team going, and on a night when, like you mentioned, Connor, earlier, Jordan Hulse, Watford, Verdell combined for 3 points on 2 of 12 shooting, or one of 11, 1 of 12 shooting. It just, you have to get more out of them. Those are your veteran guys that have been there before and have hit big shots all season long. Hulse, we saw him down NC State hit some big ones. Obviously, everyone knows the shot Watford hit, and then Verdell's done it here against Northwestern the other night. So I think those veteran guys have got to step up, because you know what you are going to get out of Cody Zeller. I mean, as long as he is on the floor and not in foul trouble, he's going to give you very close to a double-double every night, and he's going to shoot a high percentage from the floor. So that's, I think, the biggest worry going forward. Your veteran guys have got to step up if this team wants to make any type of run in March.
And one final point, I mean, not to overharp on the significance of one individual game, but this is a place where Michigan walked out of here with a loss. Michigan is a team, badly, the same way that IU got beat tonight. So don't try and draw any conclusions from one specific game. Yes, there are many things IU can learn from a game like this, but don't try and chalk up their season to one game or one specific effort, because you know what, Michigan's a team right now that looks like they could win the Big Ten championship.
I think the biggest thing for IU is this just puts them in a deeper hole in trying to get that first round bye in the conference tournament.
I think that's out of the question. I think they will be a 5 seed.
That, unless they run the table and Wisconsin or Michigan or somebody else loses a bunch of games down the road. So we'll wrap it up here again. 78-66, the Hoosiers fall to Iowa, fall to 8-7 in the conference. North Carolina Central, the team that IU plays, I feel like every year, will come to Assembly Hall on Wednesday for what should be just a nice controlled scrimmage. And then again, the Hoosiers will end the season at Minnesota next Sunday. And then Michigan State and Purdue will come to Assembly Hall to close out the year. So for Connor O'Gara, I'm Kevin Bowen. Thanks, guys, and have a good one.